Are you listening to and living in the flow of your life? I have been thinking about this particular subject. It sort of really landed yesterday. In fact, I wrote a post on it about the abundance of who we actually are. And I don't know why this is so sort of strong for me, but I'm going to go with it because obviously it's here for a reason. Most of us, most people, are living in habitual, automated ways. I would call it on the hamster wheel. And the irony is, you don't love it. In fact, I would say most people want their life to be different in some way. Just let that land for a moment. You want your life to be different. You're going through the motions, you're exhausted, you feel like you're doing all the things, you feel like you divide yourself up into a million pieces to try to get things done. You've got a never ending to do list. And despite all the things that you've done to try to create more ease, more of what you want in your life, it just doesn't seem to happen. You land on something, you think, oh, this has got to be it. And there's this momentary, oh, this is it. This is the thing. And then the old things come back. This isn't about blaming you because it's not about that. Here's the thing is the truth is what your heart, your soul, the truth of who you are, what these desires that exist here are part of your path. They are your destiny. And the caveat is if you choose to accept. And I say it this way because when we're living in automated, habitual ways, we are actually not accepting the invitation to live the life that is ours. We're caught in this sort of mind-driven approach to living life. And our nervous system wants to make habits and patterns and make it go easy, and it's always trying to problem solve. You feel the energy difference in that, right? This sort of hamster wheeling, get it done, tick off the boxes. And I'm well familiar with this. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying this information because it's information that landed deeply for me. And I know if it landed for me, there's others out there that are waiting to hear this too. So that's why I'm sharing it. When we are on this hamster wheel, when we are going through the motions, even when we think we're doing what this is asking us to do, there's the way you can tell if it's this or if it's this is if it's this, it feels hard. You're exhausted. You're all the things that I mentioned before. Rushing about, exhausted, wishing something was different. That's how you know it's coming from here. When it's coming from here, it just feels like a deep breath. Like, oh my gosh, can it be this easy? And notice if there's a starting to chat to you here. I notice it right here for me. The truth is, that's the difference. It's simple. Our brains will want to make it hard. But if we're living from here, there isn't the clench, there isn't the rushing about, there isn't the urgency, there isn't all the things. It is actually calm. It's knowing. It's okay. And so, the truths that exist here, the dreams, the desires that emerge from this place, have to be chosen. Life is held out to each of us in this moment, and in this moment, and in this moment. And we get to choose. This is our freedom. We get to choose whether we're going to stay on the hamster wheel or whether we're going to step off into the flow of life. And I say flow of life because when we think about flow, there's just not a lot of resistance, is there? It's moving. It carries us. If you've ever floated on a river or on moving water, you might bump up against the edge and slow down just a bit, but then when you get back in the middle, you just move. When we are in flow with life, when we accept this invitation from life to live us, the uniqueness that we are, then these dreams and desires become reality because they are in flow for us. They are in part of life's destiny, if you will. And I'm not going to get into the conversation about predestined and all of that stuff. That's not what this is about. This is about not even knowing necessarily what the next thing is. We just feel the desire of, oh, this feels like a yes for me. And what shuts that down? When you get the nudge, what shuts it down? It's this. It's the chatter, the fear, right? That's what keeps us away from living this. The truth, your heart, the truth is what your heart and soul desires is part of your path. It's part of your, quote, destiny. And I'm using that quite loosely here. Because we actually choose our path. That's what I believe. I don't believe it's, quote, predestined. I believe we choose our path, and the freedom lies in choice. The ability to choose, except we often don't see that we actually have choice. Why? Because we're so busy on this wheel. We are so caught in this. We perceive we don't have a choice. Why does this always happen to me? How come I always seem to be on the receiving end of the stories that are sort of flavored with the victim of life? That's how you know you're on the wheel. You're circling and automated. You're stuck here. Choice exists when you step off of that wheel, when you recognize, it's actually the moment of awareness, when you recognize there is a choice. That you can continue to live that way. It's totally your choice. Or you can choose to say, I wonder what it would be like to live my life and live in the flow of life. Now, when I'm talking about life, let me just take a moment here because, some of what I'm talking about here, several years ago, I probably would have been like, this is way too woo-woo for me. I was going to be honest. And maybe some of you are right here wondering about that right now. This is actually the truth. And this has landed for me. And for me, using science, using neuroscience, using the things that we know, actually has really helped me to land this simplicity. So let me try to help explain. In this moment, your next heartbeat, are you creating it? Are you creating your next breath? Are you creating the expression of life that is your dog or your cat or your pet? No. These are expressions of life. Science. We know it. We feel it. There's evidence that we are expressions of life. We can try to hold our breath, but you'll pass out and your breath will start again. We are expressions of life. And life is abundant. Life is flowing through millions and billions of people in this world, in this very moment. One evidence of life's abundance. Life creates nature. And yes, there are rhythms in nature. Where I am, it's winter, dormancy. And yet we know and trust that spring arrives as long as life continues to flow. Spring arrives, a new birth, new shoots, new leaves emerge. Life's abundance is evident and manifest around us. We see it. We live it. This is the science. This is the evidence around us. We can see this. We are expressions of life which is completely abundant. No argument. As an expression of life, of who we are a piece of this life, if you will. We are the essence of. We are an expression of this life in this very moment. I choose to express my me-ness here, doing this. My passion is to have you live this life that you are already gifted. It's being held right there for you to say yes or no to. It's a choice. When we live from here, we live a small, contracted version. What our mind can create. We are not in the flow of the abundance of life. And most of us, I would say all humans, desire to live in the fullness of life, but they feel like they get stuck from doing that. They want that, but they don't know how to get it. And I say get it. It's just saying yes to it. It's very simple. But the complexity lies because of this. And I'm not suggesting we need to go to war with this. In fact, the very opposite. This is part of our humanness, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's the very place, while it's doing its job of thinking, that we can get hooked into and we can buy. We can believe the things, the thoughts that are spinning in this place, and we accept them as true. We say, that must be true. For another live, we'll talk about the carnage that results from us thinking this is true, taking action from the thoughts that emerge from the past, and we try to live into them into the future because we believe them. We'll talk about that another time. The thing is, the way to get off of this hamster wheel, the way to this conditioning is actually, if you find yourself listening to this, there's something about it, trust that you're here for a reason. There's something about this that caught your attention. This is for you. This spark of awareness that perhaps is growing. Oh, I actually have a choice. I'm not a victim of life. I'm hardwired to choose, to move in the direction of freedom, my living my life, that life has invited me to, with no strings attached. Awareness is the very first step. It is the key. We recognize where we are, and we recognize where we'd rather be. And then we step into closing that gap. To do this, make this shift, we have to slow down enough so that we can become aware of this, because this is always here. It's never not been here, because we are life. We are an aspect of life that we get to express uniquely. So it's never not been here. It's just that it's quiet. And it's quiet in comparison to the noisiness of this, of our nervous system, of our world, of which this engages. So we have to slow down enough to hear the quietness of this. And then learning to locate this to where it becomes easy to locate the truth of who you are. This is one of the most transformational pieces of the work I do with my clients. When they meet this is where awe and wonder arise. People's faces they instantly change on my screen in front of me when they feel this. They feel their own expression of life, their uniqueness of who they are. And then they describe it. Words come out. I'm limitless. I'm open. I'm spacious. I'm full of possibility. This is the truth of who you are too. This isn't just reserved for my clients. This is reserved for every human being. There is no reservation. This is life that we get to choose or not. So learning how to reconnect here, learning how to access this and know it becomes a felt sense. It just is solid. It's just the truth. There's nothing to argue with. It's just, this is what's true. It's grounded. It's grounded, and equally it's in flow. It's moving because it's responding to what life is calling us to, uniquely calling you, calling me to. So when I am here, I'm living and listening for the nudges, the things that are yeses, the things that are no's, things are maybe, maybe I'll try that out. And of course, because we are in a human body and a human experience and life happens, stuff happens in life that tugs on this, and this can get very loud, that can pull us away from this truth, this knowing. And so we learn also the skills to unhook from it. Again, this use of awareness, right? Oh, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. Coming back to the truth of who I am, not wrestling, not pushing this away, just being aware that it's part of my experience of life. Life is happening. I don't get to control life. So these two skills, finding me, is the most, I would say, the most transformational piece of the work that I do with my clients. And the second piece is how to unhook when we get re-caught by this. When you are living into the dreams and desires of your heart, your soul, your truth, they're going to happen. This is what people talk about when they're talking about manifesting. This idea of manifesting. That if you set your intention that it's going to show up. The intention of the heart and the soul the dreams that want to emerge from it. It doesn't matter how big or small, truly, because it's your unique expression of life. Life is calling us to whatever. We get to say yes or no, but big or small, what this is calling us to, it's being offered. And when we're in this flow, things appear to be manifested. They're manifested because they're already part of our flow of life. This is already what life has said here. This is for you. So those things those dreams, those desires happen when they arise from here. Can we make them happen? Can we make a version of these things happen by wrestling and pushing our way, by coming from here? Probably somewhat. But it's really hard. And there's lots of detours. Your GPS sends you over here and over there. How many courses have you done? How many books have you read? How many things have you tried? You've done all the things. That's your GPS. It's going like this. It's trying to find your path. But when you're coming from here, it's just little course corrections, bumping up against the riverbanks of life's flow. It's easier. Things can happen more quickly because you're moving straight down the river. You're not over here and then over there and over here and over there. This is the truth. This is the truth of life being here for us, giving us choice. But we can only see that we have choice when we are off the hamster wheel, when we have become aware that we're on the hamster wheel, that we are moving through life in an automated kind of way. That's how we know. So when you live your true dreams and desires, you love your life because it's everything you've been dreaming of. When I talk about living a life that you love, it's about living from here. And when you live from here, you love every aspect, no matter how simple or how grand. If you are aligned with your life, you love it. It's everything you've been dreaming of. I'd love to hear from you. If this makes sense, if you'd like to learn more, over in my private Facebook group, it's called Live, Love, Life. I'm going to be teaching a free session on locating the truth of who you are. If you're interested and you're not already part of the group, I'm going to put the link down below. Go in it. It'll ask you a few questions. Please fill them out. Just around the rules of the group. There's no charge for this group. And it's where I offer tips and tools. I do some free things in there for people just to come and learn a little bit more about all of this. So come and join us. I'm going to be doing this a session in February. I haven't exactly decided on the date, probably in the next 2 weeks or so. So come and join us there. And yeah, I'll leave you with this question. Are you listening to and living in the flow of your life? Because when you do, you love your life. It's everything you've been dreaming of. Thanks for being here.